But now, with Taiwan, he feels very strongly. I made no commitment either way. See what happens.
What about the arms sales to Taiwan?
I'll make a determination over the next early spring.
Taiwan-U.S. arms sales have always been a cornerstone of regional peace and stability, and at the same time, this is also a situation confirmed in the Taiwan Relations Act.
Taiwan appears rattled after Trump signaled uncertainty on future arms sales, raising fresh questions over whether Washington is wavering after his meeting with Xi. Taipei is making a renewed public case for U.S. weapons after Trump said he has not yet decided on new arms sales to the island. Taiwan's reaction suggests growing anxiety that Trump may be snubbing a key partner just as fears of Chinese military pressure continue to rise. Taiwan reacted on May 16 after President Donald Trump said he had not yet decided on future U.S. arms sales to the island. A Taiwanese diplomat used the moment to argue for continued American weapons support amid rising tensions and persistent invasion fears. Chen Ming-chi said arms sales have long been a cornerstone of regional peace and stability. Reuters noted that the United States is bound by the Taiwan Relations Act to provide Taiwan with defensive weapons.
Taiwan-U.S. arms sales have always been a cornerstone of regional peace and stability, and at the same time, this is also a situation confirmed in the Taiwan Relations Act. And our consistent response, when talking about Taiwan arms sales, is that there will always be the same kind of answer. There has been no change in policy, just like the U.S. side has repeatedly emphasized this time, whether it is the Secretary of State or the President, repeatedly stressing that their Taiwan policy has not changed. Likewise, our position on arms sales has also not changed. This, Trump wanting to talk to lie, we will confirm. I think on that there are still many things. After all, this was a conversation on the plane, so I think many things will be left to be followed up and confirmed later. As for what the true intent of his remarks is, I think we still need to further understand. I think what I am saying is that the Republic of China is a sovereign and independent country. I think this is a very clear fact. We in the People's Republic of China are not subordinate to each other, and only the 23 million people of Taiwan can decide our own destiny through democratic means. I think this is something that does not change. Taiwan, in this region, is committed to maintaining peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait and regional security, and is one of the most important assets in this region. This has always been our consistent attitude.
The U.S. remains Taiwan's most important international backer as the self-governed island faces growing pressure from China. Beijing claims democratic Taiwan as its own territory and continues to push for eventual unification. Trump was pressed on whether he would continue arms sales to Taiwan after his talks with Xi Jinping. "I have to speak to the person," Trump said, while suggesting he would also need to discuss the matter with Taiwan's counterpart. The reported $14 billion U.S. weapons package for Taiwan remains stuck in limbo. Reports say the White House has paused the formal congressional notification process tied to that package.
Taiwan? What did President Xi say to you about Taiwan? What did President Xi say to you about Taiwan? And are you still going to approve the arms sale?
So, President Xi and I talked a lot about Taiwan. He thinks they cannot have anything to do with what they're doing. I mean, he's against very much what they're doing. We talked about Taiwan, we talked about Iran a lot. And I think we have a very good understanding what both. For Taiwan, he does not want to see a fight for independence because that would be a very strong confrontation. And I heard about. I didn't make a comment on what I heard about. I have a lot of respect for them. On Iran, it's very interesting. He feels strongly they can't have a nuclear weapon. He said that very strongly. They cannot have a nuclear weapon, and he wants them to open up the strait. But as he said, they closed it, and then you closed them with a smile. That's true. We control the strait, and they've done no business. Literally, they've done no business in the last 2.5 weeks, which is approximately $500 million a day. So we have. We're doing very well on all fronts.
Before we leave time on this, President. President Xi said that there was a risk of conflict with the US over Taiwan. What's your response to that?
I don't think there's a conflict, other than we don't need their strait. We don't need the
Taiwan. It's not President Xi said there was a risk of conflict with the US over Taiwan.
No, I don't think so. I think we'll be fine. He doesn't want to see a war. And you have two things. You have the Iranian situation. With that, I think we agree almost entirely, other than he's a buyer and we're not. We don't need it. And on Taiwan, he doesn't want to see a movement for independence. He says, look, we've had it for thousands of years, and then at a certain period of time it left, and we're going to get it back. They had the Korean War. A lot of things happened. That's all history. But no, for Taiwan, he feels very strongly. I made no commitment either way. We'll see what happens.
What about the arms sales to Taiwan?
I'll make a determination over the next early spring.
You're not necessarily going to go ahead. It's your proposal.
Make a determination. I'm going to see. I have to speak to the person that right now, because you know who he is, that's running Taiwan.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.